Viking Central, about 9 o'clock Central Time here Monday night. 53 man rosters have to be set by tomorrow, I think 3 p.m. Central Time, I believe. So we're getting closer and closer, but Kwesi's still making deals. He's a lot of people are kind of joking, like he's turning into Trader Rick Spielman again, kind of stockpiling those late round draft picks, couple sixes now, some fifths, couple sevenths, or whatever he's got to do to make it happen. But we're going to talk a little bit more about a specific trade he made tonight, and then kind of just look at the draft picks we do have for 2026 and kind of what they could do with those draft picks. But I have Austin here with me tonight. How we doing, buddy?
Doing good, Cam. Just excited. I'm excited to keep talking football. We're getting within a week of the game now. I'm excited.
I know.
Stealing jersey on. Try to bring in some good luck for us.
Good luck, good energy, positive vibes. Yeah, let's see if we can make it happen. And it could happen yet tonight. I mean, I guarantee you, front offices are up right now, just trying to figure out what they're going to do with their 53-man roster. There's been quite a few moves today, and I bet there's going to be just as many tomorrow, obviously. The Vikings, I think, still have to cut like 20-some players, I believe. Damn near 30 players, I think. So they got a long ways to go yet. So we're going to be hearing a lot. We're going to be probably seeing new names that are connected to the Vikings and kind of just go from there. So Jeremy Armstrong says, I'm so happy they traded him. He was dead weight. I'm guessing he's talking about the guy that I'm going to bring up, and I'll pull up this a comment again, but I do want to shout out one of our sponsors real quick. That's Badass Wood Art. Use code VC15 for 15% off your order. They do great work. Small business, support them and help support us. So here's That's Badass Wood Art.
This segment of the Viking Central podcast is sponsored by That's Badass Wood Art. They have some really cool pieces in the shop online that speak to gamers, sports fans, or just nostalgic and trendy pieces for your garage, home, or office. Luis at That's Badass Wood Art can even make you something custom if you don't see it in his store. Shoot him a message with an idea, link, or picture of what you want, and Luis can make your dream wood art come true. Check them out now at www.thatsbadasswoodart.com and make sure you use our Viking Central coupon code of VC15 for 15% off at checkout. That's pretty badass.
All right, Austin, let's talk about the trade that happened tonight, Mekhi Blackmon, and I'll pull this up here real quick as well. So Tom Pelissero trade, the Vikings are sending defensive back Mekhi Blackmon to the Colts for a 2026 sixth-round pick. Obviously, per sources, he was a third-round pick, I believe, in 2023. So a couple years under his belt. He had a lot of potential moving forward, but then that ACL injury in training camp last year kind of feel like it stunted everything a little bit. Hasn't been the same. Has been kind of falling out of the order. Some UDF guys have been playing in front of him. What do you think of this trade by Kwesi and the Vikings?
I think it was just a smart move. The way he's been playing in camp, he has shown little spurts of his old self, but at the same time, I don't think he was going to see the field, and I don't think there was any future plan for him to make the rotation in the near future either. So honestly, it's a good play to get some capital for him because he was the type of guy that probably would have made the roster but wouldn't see in the field. And it's good to get some capital built up and try to move on and try to find another piece to fill that void in the future.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And like we said, he had potential. He was falling out of the depth there a little bit, and it's unfortunate because I think they had high hopes for him, but at the same time, they're not afraid to cut or get rid of players that they don't think are going to fit in the system or they're not living up to potential. If they feel like they need to move on, they're going to do it. And we've seen that a little bit now. Sam Howell was here for a whole, 5 months, not even 4 months. Traded him. Harrison Phillips kind of fell out of the rotation just the same way. A lot of young guys back there. Now, the defensive line group is way deeper than the cornerback room. But at the same time, I think this signifies that there's probably a move on the horizon if it's a trade for a pretty solid cornerback. And we've been talking a lot of wide receiver, but I feel like the needs now at the cornerback room are almost just as much as the wide receiver room. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think that's a big move. I think Kwesi and KOC are always looking to improve any room, but especially where the Vikings like in the past like 7-8 years have had trouble, it was in the cornerback room, and they're always looking to improve that.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, Mekhi Blackmon wasn't seen to be a part of that future, so I think they're just going to continue to move forward, and they're going to keep looking to see if anything frees up with the 53-man rosters closing tomorrow, and then anyone else that we could find in the cornerback room.
How about the Vikings trade for not only Adam Thielen but also J.C. Horn? that'd be quite the swing.
That'd be insane. I think we do have quite a bit of draft picks built up now. It wouldn't be that insane
Yeah.
for them to pull a move like that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I know the Panthers are, they're looking to be competitive this year, but at the same time, Adam Thielen, 35 years old, got a bunch of young guys in that room that are ready to play. So it would make sense. I know the veteran presence is great for Bryce Young, and that's why I'm very open, not only because he's from Minnesota, he was a Viking. He'd be great for J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah.
Just a savvy veteran, really good in the room. Obviously, they have chemistry already. So Adam Thielen's the name that we're kind of just focusing on. But I think there's more than that move. There's going to be something else. I mean, if it's 2 wide receivers, maybe they go get 2 corners. They're probably going to be picking up some guys on the waiver wire as well. But just stockpiling all these picks, I feel like they're ready to make a couple moves, especially in the trade market. And I don't know. I guess I haven't done a ton of research on who they'd maybe trade for in like the cornerback market. But I know Mike Hilton got released from the Dolphins today. I really like that, but he was only there for like 4 weeks, so that's kind of interesting. If there's an injury there or if something's going on there. Eli Ricks, the former Georgia Bulldog, like Eagles, he got released. I know he's pretty raw yet, but I don't know. He'd maybe be the type of corner that Brian Flores would like in the defense. Would you be surprised if they go get a corner and a wide receiver here in the next day or two?
No, I really wouldn't. I think that's I think the receiver room is for us is pretty bad. I think it gets better as the year goes on, obviously, with Addison and Naylor getting healthy, but I think they want to compete in these first couple of games. So I think the wide receiver is important for them because they want J.J. McCarthy to be comfortable and have a good receiver core. But then you go back in on the cornerback room, and we don't have any depth there. So I think a guy to look at is maybe a guy like Alex Johnson, maybe Kwesi make a call. I think that would be a great guy. We've already been trading with the Colts. I think that would be a great pickup as well too.
No doubt about it. And a guy with a lot of potential.
Yeah,
like you said, probably would fit really well in Brian Flores style defense, and that's what he's looking for. Now it's kind of interesting. They didn't really do much with the cornerback room except like go after and get Isaiah Rodgers in the offseason because we knew that was a need right off the bat. Now, wide receiver, we didn't know what was happening with Jordan Addison. We didn't expect Jalen Naylor to get injured. Jefferson's been dealing with a hamstring. I don't really blame them. I mean, they did spend a 3rd-round pick on Ty Felton, so they did do something. I'm just surprised they haven't been as aggressive in the cornerback room, unless they got something under their sleeve now that they kind of been, waiting on for a guy. Maybe they could even bring back like a Stephon Gilmore that was in the system last year just to fill out the depth a little bit. Now, that won't be like a big splash move. You don't have to make a trade, but just those little pieces, veteran pieces that would fit in. Then you don't have to worry about like a Dwight McGlothern playing or Zemiah Vaughn.
Yeah.
Now, they have potential, but I don't know if they're quite ready to have like a full, plethora of plays thrown at them when they're so raw yet.
Yeah, and maybe even on the closed practices, maybe Jeff Okuda's looked a lot better than we've been expecting. That could be something.
Yep.
He might have a bigger role than we're expecting going into the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I think he's probably your starting slot corner, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And, I know they talked about how aggressive he's been all training camp, all offseason, really playing like really aggressive, physical, much to the chagrin maybe of some of the wide receivers. It's been getting a little heated a little bit at practice, but I don't think Brian Flores and I don't think the defense has an issue at all with just having some fire in that secondary. So if that's something he brings that we need, now I don't want stupid unsportsmanlike penalties or personal fouls or anything like that. I don't want a bunch of holding calls, but at the same time, if Jeff Okuda shows up and he kind of plays up to that potential, the 3rd overall pick, that opens up a lot of opportunities. So yeah, who knows? Maybe they are pretty comfortable with Okudah at that third spot, and Isaiah Rodgers obviously, and then Byron Murphy Jr. It's just that back end of that depth I think really needs some work. But I was kind of surprised, like when we traded with the Colts for the Mekhi Blackmon, like I wonder if there's any talk about Alec Pierce being involved in that trade at all.
Yeah, you would think they would have put that in together. So I almost feel like maybe
Yeah, that might.
that's why
not
that's
be
also
enough.
how I feel with Alex Johnson. It's that maybe we inquired about those guys already, and there's pieces that the Colts aren't willing to give up.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And this is fluid, so there's going to be a lot of moving pieces. It's going to change. But yeah, I mean, if that was something, I think they would have probably packaged something together. But hey, who knows? Maybe they wanted it to be a separate trade. But if you're watching on X, if you're watching on YouTube, appreciate you guys hopping on. If you are on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. We're continuing to try to grow our YouTube channel over there. Trying to get 500 subscribers before the season starts. We're inching our way up there. If you're on X, obviously you're probably following us, but just repost the stream if you want to. Continue to support us over there if that's just commenting on posts or whatever you guys are doing. We really appreciate it. Let's look at the kind of the updated picks that we got for 2026. So this looks a little bit different than 2025. The list would have ended pretty quick in 2025. So this is per Alec Lewis of The Athletic. So we got a first-round pick, a second-round pick, a third-round pick, another third-round pick from Sam Darnold, a fourth-round pick for Daniel Jones, a fifth from the Eagles in the Sam Howell trade, a fifth for Cam Robinson, the sixth that they just got from the Colts, and then 2 sevenths. So, hey, there's a lot of capital there. I think that's 11 picks, correct?
Yeah.
And I think that's most in the NFL right now. So even if you have to give up 2 or 3 draft picks, you still got 9-8 picks to deal with. And who knows, there could be, I know there's been talk of maybe a Ty Chandler trade out there too. And we didn't know we were going to get capital from Sam Howell or even Mekhi Blackmon. So it's possible that Chandler could maybe net a late round pick too. But we'll have to wait and see on that. What do you think of just the capital that we have right now? And do you think they definitely can move maybe a fifth or a sixth or a seventh for some guys coming up?
Yeah, I think that's been Kwesi's MO, honestly. The whole time he's been here with Minnesota is using the draft capital to get proven players already. And I think with how he hasn't landed in the draft in the past, hopefully that's changed. But we'll see with the coming year. But I think with the 11 picks, I think we for sure 2 or 3 of those picks are going to be moved, possibly even a fourth one, especially if we do end up trading Ty Chandler, which I think is a possibility with how the Texan situation's looking with Joe Mixon being out on the PUP or to start off the season.
Very true. Yeah, there's gonna be a spot there for sure. Viking Jerome says skull baby. How we doing? T. Klubler says Stephon Gilmore incoming. I think that's on the table. I don't know if it's gonna for sure happen, but a guy, he's up there in age as well, but had a solid 2024. So I think they'd definitely be open to him coming back. That's just kind of a wait and see game. And I'm not surprised he's not signed yet. I'm guarantee he didn't want to go through a training camp and a whole preseason and offense or off season. So I definitely could see that happen. That's definitely a possibility. So we can go back to Adam Thielen here a little bit. And if you guys have anything else in the comments, just shoot them over there and we'll get to you as soon as we can. But so I saw there's been some rumors. Obviously, we talked about this a little bit already. A third-round pick for Adam Thielen. I'm out on a third-round pick for Adam Thielen. Now, I saw something that I did like is packaging maybe a fifth and a seventh to go get Adam Thielen. I would be open to that. What's your ideal compensation package for Adam Thielen? We know you're an Adam Thielen fan. We see your jersey.
Yeah, I mean, I think a fifth and a seventh would be. I think that's an easy let's go do it right away type of trade, but I just don't see if that's realistic on the Panthers side. I think it might have to be a fifth and a sixth, unfortunately, and I think I would be okay doing that.
Yeah.
I think the Panthers are, like you said, trying to be competitive this season. They have an easy schedule. I think I saw they don't face a playoff team until somewhere like week 8 or 9.
For sure.
I think they truly believe they have a chance to compete in the South, so I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And honestly, it depends on how they feel about the young wide receiver room they have there as well. So I just think it makes a lot of sense in the fact that they're listening to trade calls from us. He must be available. So I think this is something that goes through tomorrow, to be honest with you.
And it's very interesting. Like, that's the only name we've like truly heard that the Vikings are connected to. Now, I know they've said like they've pretty much reached out to every team, but the only name that's really came up is Adam Thielen. Like, they've made tons of calls, but the only name that they've been able to drop is Adam Thielen. Now, I know that's obviously it'd be a reunion, a big connection with Minnesota, and everything like that. But I just find it interesting that he's the only name that's coming up like through reports and all that kind of stuff. It's just very interesting to me.
Yeah, and I think like that makes a lot of sense. I bet you Adam Thielen would love to be back where he lives. So I mean, it makes a lot of sense. He's from around this area. He still lives in the Woodbury area. So I think he would love to come back to Minnesota and in a system in which he's already played in. So he wouldn't have a whole lot of a learning curve like other receivers might. He would be able to jump in right on week 1.
For sure.
So I think that's the aspect I like a lot too, is that our biggest need for wide receiver is in the first 3 weeks when Addison's on suspension. So just being able to have someone who's been in the system and play right away and know what's going on, I think that's going to be big, especially with the rookie quarterback with McCarthy.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. I think they're probably the first option. Like, Adam Thielen is their first option just for that specific reason. Like, there'd be some catching up to do. Obviously, there's been some tweaks and differences in the system, but he's seen a lot of stuff. He's been in with Kevin O'Connell before, and obviously in Minnesota in the organization. So I think he's probably the number one target, but I don't think they're not in a position where they feel like they need to overpay. I think there is other options, but if the Panthers decide, okay, yeah, we'll do that, they're going to do that trade. And I think that's probably what they're waiting on. I think that might be what's holding up a little bit. Viking Jerome says Adam Thielen for a 6th. In the perfect world, I agree. But at the same time, I think Thielen's too valuable to the Panthers to just give him up for a 6th-round pick, unfortunately. And Austin, you probably agree with that.
Yeah, I agree. And I think in terms of a single pick, I think a 4th is about as high as I'd go.
Yeah.
And even that would be pushing it a little bit, I think. But
yeah,
I think in my opinion, what he's actually worth would be as a straight up 5th. But I think the Panthers know that they kind of have us in a tight position where we really need them. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt about it. They do. I mean, we're kind of desperate, and I think the Panthers maybe see that a little bit. But I don't think Thielen is like do or die. I don't think he has to be the move. I know there's other options out there, and maybe you just bring the band back together a little bit. Adam Thielen, KJ Osborne. I mean, KJ Osborne could be available too. Be kind of interesting to see how that room would look like. But I think they're definitely looking for someone that's been in the system before. That would be able to come in, like you said, just from week 1, kind of have the grasp on it a little bit, and able to kind of go from there. Walt Cook says, I'd rather have Jacoby Myers than Thielen. So he requested a trade, Jacoby Myers, and we can kind of talk about this too, I guess.
Yeah.
Requested a trade from the Raiders. Now the Raiders said, "Oh, we're not going to trade him," but I guarantee you, after every trade request, the organization says we're not going to trade him, because if they said something different, they diminish the value in return, like way down. Or they wouldn't get anything for him, because people know they're gonna trade him. So
yeah, for sure. And he's in a situation where he has a wide receiver 1 there pretty much, and I think he wants wide receiver 1 when in all reality, his talent wise, he's probably a wide receiver 2.
Yep.
So it's interesting to see where that goes. And I would fear that if he'd do the same thing to us where he wouldn't play this year because he wants to get signed. And I just don't think we would sign Jacoby Myers to a long-term deal.
And I talked about this earlier. The only way we do that is if they're out on Jordan Addison. And they're not going to pay him next offseason. So the only reason that would make sense is if they're going to move off Jordan Addison after this year. And maybe that is an opportunity there. Maybe that is a chance that would happen. But I feel like J.J. McCarthy and Jordan Addison have really good chemistry.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they would be willing to tear that apart. Now, we have some trust issues with Jordan Addison. He's been in some legal trouble before. We see it with the suspension. But I feel like he's cleaning it up a little bit, being a little bit more mature, which is good. So that's the only reason that I would go after Jacoby Myers, if that was the reason, that they would maybe get rid of Jordan Addison. But I don't see it happening because, like you said, he wants a long-term contract, and shit, it'd be probably north of $25 million a year for sure.
He wants wide receiver one money.
Yep, exactly. I mean, Terry McLaurin just got what, $32 million a year, and he's 31 years old. I mean, Jacoby Myers maybe not quite up to that level, but he's damn solid. I mean, he had a 1,000-yard season in a terrible Raiders offense with what, 3 different quarterbacks last year. Myers is worth a fifth. I think Myers is worth probably a third.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
I would give up a third for Myers.
Yeah, in my opinion, and there might be teams out there that would be willing to give him a long-term extension and probably would even go up to a second-round pick, because he's right in the dead center of his prime, and he's produced in not very good offenses.
That's part of the problem with Myers is that he is probably going to get interest from the 49ers, the Jets, Steelers, and probably even the Patriots too.
Yep, for sure. There's a lot of teams that would be in the market, and yeah, if the Vikings just want him for a 1-year rental, they are not going to be able to outbid those teams that would be willing to give him a long-term extension. So, yeah, the Jacoby Myers things, it would be great. He'd be a great option here. He's really reliable, a really good wide receiver. I have a hard time seeing it because I think they really do like what Jordan Addison has been bringing to the Vikings offense, and him and Justin Jefferson just play off of each other so well.
Yeah,
I do want a deep threat as that third option just to open up the middle of the field, and I don't know who that guy is going to be. Jalen Naylor has shown flashes, but he's just not reliable, and he's going to probably move on to a team with more opportunity next year. Now, in a perfect world, Ty Felton is that guy.
Yeah,
but we know how he's pretty raw yet. Yeah. So, but yeah, like you said, I think Adam Thielen's probably the play. But if I see a different name in the morning sometime, I would not be surprised at all. I would be shocked because I think they're really pushing the phone calls, and all these moves are just kind of solidifying that for sure. So, yeah, I don't know. What do you think about? I mean, we got 2 weeks till the Bears. 2 weeks from today is when the season starts. Monday Night Football. If you had to bet, who's your top 3 wide receiver? Like, who's your wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 on the Vikings?
Yeah. So we're going to assume that in the top 3, it's going to be Jefferson, and then Naylor's going to be in there as well, as I'm going to make that assumption.
Okay.
But I guess we don't know the situation as much with Naylor, but from what I'm seeing, I think he's going to probably be there week 1, so I'm going to assume that. And then I'm going to let's just assume Adam Thielen doesn't happen, because that's the easy answer here. I think that's where all roads are leading, but yep. I think you brought his name up, KJ Osborne. I think it would be another good option that I think would be a good budget pickup that wouldn't take too much to get him over here.
Yep, and I could definitely see that happen. And people would not like that. I think people are waiting for a pretty big name.
Yeah.
To come over here. But at the same time, I'm like, we're getting all these late round picks. It's not like we're going to use. I mean, we could package maybe a 3rd and a 6th or something to go get a really good player.
Yeah.
I don't know how likely that is. It's probably a lot more likely if KJ Osborne gets released or waived, or we have to send a 7th round pick or something, just because he's got familiarity in the offense for that to happen. Now, if Jalen Naylor is truly injured and he starts the season on short-term IR or something, now that's going to change the trajectory a little bit. But I could see them bringing in a guy now this is not very sexy at all, or not very, oh my gosh, but a Robert Woods or a Van Jefferson, just because they're also been in the Kevin O'Connell type system. He's been their OC, just very experienced. Again, plug and play. We've talked about this, plug and play into the system, because the first 3 weeks are what we're looking for. When Jordan Addison comes back, obviously we're feeling a lot better about the wide receiver room. And those are guys that can slide back and be the 3rd or 4th option, and we'd still be running with it really well. Does Robert Woods or Van Jefferson do anything for you at all?
I think I would love Robert Woods. He's shown a lot of success. He's getting up there in age, but I think I've been hitting this on the head for a while, that I think a veteran presence with JJ McCarthy it would go a long ways. I think that would help. Well, they understand the situations.
So we just got an update from Adam Schefter on Adam Thielen and the Vikings. Vikings and Panthers have tried to work out a trade for Carolina wide receiver Adam Thielen, who would like to return to Minnesota. So there's obviously interest there, as my phone just died. So you might be the one to update if he sees anything. But they continue to struggle to agree on compensation. So pretty much what we've been talking about. I think the interest is there from both sides. I just think Carolina probably wants too much. And I think that's what the wait is. Vikings are waiting for the Panthers to, okay, we'll take a fifth. And I think they probably do want a third or fourth, unfortunately. So I think they're probably going to give it till the morning. If they wake up, they're going to make a phone call to the Panthers, try it one last time, and if not, they're going to pivot and get something done before the 53-man rosters are set. So again, it's a possibility, but the Panthers gotta come down on their asking price. I don't blame the Vikings at all for kind of sticking to their guns a little bit. I don't know what you think on that.
No, I fully agree. I don't want to overpay for a 35-year-old receiver that we're going to probably get on a rental, but
yeah.
I think this kind of shows like what we were saying earlier, that the Panthers want to be competitive. I think
for sure
part of it is they know they have us backed in a corner where we might give up more, but at the same time, I think they don't want to just get rid of Adam Thielen when they think he can be productive to their offense this season.
For sure. No doubt about it. And I'm going to hop off real quick. I'm going to play a spot from our sponsor, Homage, so I can go grab a phone charger quick. So I got about 55 seconds here. Hopefully I can make it back in time. But again, if you're watching on YouTube, there's about 25 of you over there watching. Subscribe to us over there. Turn on that bell for notifications. We probably go live at least 3, 4, 5 times a week. Season comes, we're going to be on here a lot. Just giving you guys a lot of content and continue to grow over there. Again, if you're on X, there's over 1,000 of you watching. Just continue to support us over there and stay up to date, because promise you, something's going to happen here sooner or later. And it's going to be a semi-big deal, especially if Adam Thielen comes back. Vikings Twitter and Vikings, the community is going to kind of explode. But here's Homage. Check them out.
Viking Central is sponsored by Homage. They're a clothing company that has an online store filled with items that feature your favorite sports teams, video games you used to or still play, one-liners from that movie you love to quote, and much more. They are reasonably priced, stylish, and comfortable clothing that will have you coming back for more. Use our Viking Central QR code to shop today and buy a shirt that will have your coworkers and friends reminiscing over fond memories, have a few laughs, and look good while doing it. Homage, where legendary comfort is on deck.
Just in time. So yeah, that's something to definitely just keep an eye out for. Even up for the next hour or so. I mean, something could change. But if we don't hear anything by 10:30, 11, I think it's probably going to wait until the morning.
Yeah.
And then again, like I said, just kind of reassess where everything's at and kind of go from there. But hey, obviously they're still talking. They haven't given up. Do you think they're pretty set on like a third or fourth, the Panthers for Thielen? Do you think that's probably the asking price?
I think it's got to be even a third. I think we would budge on a fourth personally. I don't see where we have all this draft capital that we could probably even churn in to get another fourth. Why we would bat our eyes out of fourth. So I bet you they're holding strong on a third, or they want a fourth and something else, which I think is way too much.
Yeah, I think I would give a fourth for sure. I don't know if I could go to a third. I don't know if I could. He's 35 years old.
Yeah.
I love Adam Thielen, one of my favorite Vikings of all time. I got an Adam Thielen jersey like you, just not wearing it. Should have texted me. I would have coordinated with you. But it's just this front office is pretty smart. Like they're pretty smartly run. I think if it was Rick Spielman, Thielen probably would have been home already. But they're just kind of playing the patient game. I mean, we've seen him do that, especially Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, not panic, just kind of wait till how the market shapes out a little bit and kind of go from there. I guarantee he's in contact with a lot of guys around the league. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my phone rebooted here. Probably didn't miss anything, but
No, I've been trying to keep up, like you said, in case something happened. But
I appreciate that.
I think I don't know where we would shift. Like I don't know how big of a name this is. I know you're high on this. I think this would probably be our best move and would probably be the sexiest move. But
Let's hear it.
if the Saints are looking to completely blow up, if we could go get a Chris Olave.
Yeah.
But I honestly feel like that's another situation where we're not trusting Addison. I don't know if we would hold all three of those receivers long term. What do you think on that?
Honestly, I would love it, but at the same time, like you said, there's a lot of mouths to feed in this offense. It'd be Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Chris Olave, TJ Hawkinson. You got your 2 running backs. But I mean, if the compensation's not like overly crazy, he is under contract, I think, through the 2026 season. So he'd play this year and probably play next year on a pretty good number, and then he'd obviously probably want to talk a new contract in 2026. So I'd definitely be open for it. I'd also love Rashid Shaheed, another
Rashid Shaheed would be a great deep threat. Like you were saying, you want a deep threat to open up the offense. That would be a great move.
No doubt about it. And I think the problem is there. I think he's due for a new contract next year, I believe.
Yeah.
Now, he won't be crazy expensive, I don't think. He only played, I think, like 6 games last year. So I don't know if he'd be crazy, like super expensive. So I don't know what it would kind of look like in that regard, but I would, like you said, he'd be so good here. Just having that deep threat, taking the top off of defenses, opening up everything. And we know Kevin O'Connell's offense plays through the middle of the field. Justin Jefferson makes his money there. TJ Hawkinson makes his money there. And from what we've seen with JJ McCarthy, he's really accurate over the middle of the field. So I think that would make a lot of sense. And the Saints are kind of in like a rebuild mode. They're not going to be able to pay like these guys. Something's got to give eventually.
Yeah, paying Olave is not going to fix their problems.
Exactly. And I think the rumor is they're going to start Spencer Rattler week 1.
Yeah.
Like you're going to win 3 or 4 games and you might get the number 1 pick. I mean, then you'd feel pretty good. Like say I don't even know if Arch Manning's going to come out this year. He might stay 2 more years.
Maybe go to his grandfather's alma mater, or not alma mater, but his former team. That might be if the Saints did have the first pick. Maybe that would be something to entice him to come out. I don't know, but
exactly.
But back on to Olave. Even if we could even grab him as a rental, and we could get some more like flip him next year and get capital back. And if he has a big year, maybe even win on the trades and make picks off of them. Who knows?
For sure. Yeah, because he's in a different situation than Jacoby Myers. Like Jacoby Myers wants to be paid now. Chris Olave ain't going to be looking to get paid for another year or 2. So he could play on the current contract exactly the way it is and be just fine being a pass. It could be a pass heavy offense eventually once JJ McCarthy gets in a rhythm and starts playing well. But I think that would make a lot of sense. Like you could even choose then between Jordan Addison and Chris Olave, like who's fitting better in the system. Now you're not going to pay all 3, Justin Jefferson, Chris Olave, and
Jordan
Addison. So that's something. The contract that runs through the 2026 year for Olave is what makes it really enticing to me, because he's under team control for 2 more years, not just 1 year, which makes it less confusing. Now, if the Saints, want a first-round pick or whatever, or just not even looking to deal them, that's something that's going to delay things. But that is my dream pickup.
Olave is someone I would be willing to give up more capital for, like we were talking about with Thielen, but we don't want to give up. I might even be willing to give up a second or a third for him.
Yeah, I would definitely give a third. No, I'd even package like a third and one of our fifths and be just fine with it. If that's something that would get that done. A second pick alone, just the second round pick, I'd honestly maybe even swing that deal. I would,
Yeah.
if Kwesi did that and his front office did that, I probably wouldn't even bat an eye. I'd be like, okay, let's do it.
I would have comments saying that's bold, but yeah, I'd be like, I see what we have here. We potentially are going to get picks back for him, so it's an investment too, or a picks for Addison, because like you said, we have to pick between one or the other. So
Yep.
I think that's where you give up more because you know you're going to get more on the back end.
For sure. Bob says bring Thielen back for a Super Bowl win and retire Viking. Hey, in a perfect world, that's what we want. Adam Thielen, a Super Bowl win. Harrison Smith, who's been here forever, a Super Bowl win. True Vikings that have been here since we've almost even remembered.
Yeah.
Well, Thielen hasn't been here for the last 2 years, but yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, Bob, that's what we want. And we'll see if Thielen is, like we said, obviously that's a situation where they're still working through it. And I think the last chance gasp is tomorrow for the Vikings and the Panthers to try to make something, because if this drags on, Panthers are just going to run with it and see how they start the season. Now, if the Vikings need a wide receiver at trade deadline and the Panthers are kind of struggling, yeah, I definitely could see them re-engaging on that.
I don't foresee that being a problem though, but especially if we go out and get a receiver, I think we're gonna have a strong wide receiver room. But injuries happen, you never know. But yeah, I think for sure I know the Panthers want to compete. I just don't foresee it happening right away. So I do think Thielen will get traded at the deadline, whether or not, if he doesn't get traded before the season, just whether or not if it's the Vikings in the market for a receiver or not.
For sure, 100%. And I mean, we can maybe talk some more tomorrow if you're available, because a lot of stuff's going to be, there's a lot of moving parts yet. A lot of the guys are going to be released. There could be another trade or two of us sending out guys like we mentioned, Ty Chandler, or another name that we didn't really expect to get moved. Yeah, Bob, you're 100% right. We're dumping players for draft capital for a trade.
Yeah.
I don't think we'd be doing it for any other. I don't think he's just sending out these guys to
sure
have 12, 13 picks next year. But yeah,
it's like we said in the beginning of the show. Kwesi's not a guy that holds on to that many picks. He likes using his picks to gain proven players. I just don't think we want to overpay for Thielen, because we want to be able to go get a cornerback or something else. And you never know when we're gonna have to make a trade in this season because injuries happen. So it's good to have the capital to make moves in the future too. It's just a matter of, that's why we don't want to overpay. We want as much capital as possible.
Yep, you hit it on the head for sure. And I think that's why they went after Carson Wentz too, just to get a guy in here that they didn't have to trade for. They needed a quarterback too, but they didn't have to trade for him, because they're saving that capital for a wide receiver and a cornerback. They just signed Carson for the vet minimum. Okay, we're good. We're solid. Let's save these. Crap, I could even go back, but these 11 picks that we have to make some moves and improve our roster. Now, people are like, why are we shipping out Mekhi Blackmon for a 6th-round pick when we just spent a 3rd on him? Why are we, shipping off? Who was the other guy we just traded? I mean, Harrison Phillips. Yeah, Harrison Phillips. Why are we trading these guys for pretty much peanuts? Well, first of all, I mean, are you going to cut them anyway? Or are they not even going to play? Like, get something for them, and then flip that for someone who either fits your system better or could maybe even be a better player. And that's a net positive. So, I mean, he's not just moving them to get essentially peanuts.
No, it's like in the Harrison Phillips example, I was talking about it earlier. I don't think he was going to play that much. I think there was a lot of pressure with the younger D tackles and signing the Allen Hargraves, that I just think that he wasn't going to see the field all too much. So it was more of a move to get something for him and give him a better opportunity to play.
Yep. T. Kubler says why? Because the GM has drafting issues. Yeah, I mean, he hasn't nailed a ton of drafts. That's not going out on a limb. We know he's kind of struggled, especially 22, 23. Now I'm not really blaming him for the 2022 draft, because a lot of those picks were defensive picks that just didn't work out. And if Ed Donatel had any say in any of those draft picks, I'm just going to blame him. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And Kwesi was only there for damn near just like over a month before the draft.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of the same scouting department that he was relying on. Ed Donatel, who's been in the league for a long time, I guarantee he relied on him for the defensive picks, and it just didn't work out. Now, 2023, I think there's 2 players left, Jalen Naylor and Ty Chandler. Ty Chandler probably won't be here past tomorrow, so you got Jalen Naylor, and he probably won't be here past this year. So your 2023 draft is pretty much washed. But I'm just telling you, if he hits on J.J. McCarthy and Dallas Turner, I could honestly care less. Now, obviously, I want him to hit on draft picks, but if you find your franchise quarterback and a really damn good edge rusher, I still call that a win. And, you even got Donovan Jackson this year that could be your long-term guard also. So I think there's a lot of picks that didn't work out, and people are just saying, yeah, he just sucks at drafting. So far, again, the draft record is not what we want it to be, but he's been amazing in free agency, and he's been amazing just building a team, fixing salary cap issues. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt for now. What's kind of your take on that, Austin?
Well, I mean, I said this earlier in the show. I even opened up with he's had struggles with drafting, but I don't think I'm not too worried about it. He's in free agency and trading. He's done such a great job. I don't care. Obviously, you get better value when you land on the draft picks, but I just think that's why he went and got 11 picks. Is we're gonna have more draft picks in the draft next year than we had, and he's gonna use some of those draft picks to help bolster the team for this season. So
yep.
I think he's very crafty with how he uses the draft picks. So I think we overlook that and just look at the players he actually drafts, but he's using those draft picks in other ways that most GMs don't use. And I think that's what makes Kwesi as good as he is.
More throws at the dartboard, right?
Yeah.
The more throws you got, the more you're going to hit. Because even after, the first round pick's kind of a toss up, or the first round is even a toss up. I know, okay, you're supposed to hit on your first round picks, obviously. I think it's only like 30% of those picks even like make it past like the first contract with the team, which is kind of crazy. But anything after, for sure, like the second round is pretty much, 50-50 chance of them working out. And that's just the way it is. That's the way it's been forever. Overlord Rex says, how's it going, guys? It's going good. Appreciate you hopping on. I'm really hoping all these trades are for a new wide receiver 3 and a cornerback 2. And I think it'd be more of a wide receiver 3 and a cornerback 3, probably. Unless they go, again, big name hunting. They love Isaiah Rodgers over here. So I think they're definitely planning on Isaiah Rodgers being the number 2 guy. But again, we talked about Chris Olave being that big swing. There could be a big swing. We kind of name dropped J.C. Horn. He'd come in and be the number 2 corner right alongside Byron Murphy Jr. probably to be one of the best corners on the roster. So yeah, I think that's what they're doing. Again, unless they're going big game hunting, and hey, why not, right?
Well, when you have this many picks too, it just kind of makes sense. I agree. Yeah. I think they might be calling and making calls on big names, trying to see what they can do. But I think you're right. You hit it right there. When we're probably going to have a wide receiver 3 and cornerback 3 realistically,
for sure. Kubler's back on. He says he was there for 3 months, but came from the Browns front office, so was preparing for the draft there and should have been very familiar with the draft class. Yeah, you're correct.
The Browns have different needs than the Vikings and had needs in.
Exactly. He's scouting. He's specifically, and he wasn't even the head of that draft. He wasn't the GM over there. I think Andrew Berry was over there still at the time, but he was definitely involved in it. But he was scouting every single player, how that would fit. How it would fit in the Cleveland Browns defense, how they would fit in the offense. Now you come over to the Vikings. Kevin O'Connell didn't get there until after the Super Bowl. They had to hire Ed Donatel. They brought Wes Phillips along over there. Now, 2 months may seem like a long time, but you got to all kind of collaborate and see who's going to fit in, who are they going to sign in free agency, who are they going to go in the draft. Yeah. There's a lot of moving parts there, and I'm not like excusing that it's a shit draft. It was a terrible draft, but I just think there's a lot of things that made that a difficult draft for Kwesi and just the Vikings front office in a whole. And we definitely want to see these draft classes be a lot better. And I feel like 2024 and 2025 draft classes have a chance to kind of really, help his cause of not having the tag of a terrible drafter. But until they do show up and they do start showing out on the field, it's going to be labeled as that. And, all this draft capital, like, I don't think we're going to have 11 or 12 picks. I think we go into the next draft with probably 8, maybe 9 still, and kind of go from there. But yeah, like you said, he was not scouting for the Vikings when he was with the Browns. He was trying to figure out exactly he was trying to figure out exactly what the Browns needed, not what his new team with the Vikings.
Well, yeah, and even like looking at, we had like you said earlier, no one from the 2021 team was there for the draft for the 2022 picks. So KOC and Kwesi were just looking at tape, trying to figure out what they needed, and they weren't actually there to see personally which players they liked on the roster. So yeah, it was kind of a bad situation we put into trying to draft in that 22 season.
Yep, and he said 2023 draft Addison and Ward are the only two there. Yeah. So Jordan Addison is a hit. I just got to say that he was the right pick for this offense. Now we wish he was. He's had a little bit. There's been some bumps, but at the same time, he's been very productive on the field, right from the get-go. And that's probably a little bit to do with Kevin O'Connell too, because Kevin O'Connell wanted Jordan Addison. We saw it with the draft video. That's my guy. Go get him. And Jay Ward, pretty good special teamer. Was he a 4th round pick? I think he was a 4th or 5th round pick. So that's another one of those tosses at the dartboard. But he's a guy that could contribute on defense if he absolutely needs to. But Jordan Addison's pretty much the only hit from there. Overlord Rex comes back on and says Chris Olave, Asante Samuel Jr. or Adam Thielen and Stephon Gilmore. Which do you prefer? I'd rather go injury prone and young. How about you, Austin?
Yeah, no, I agree. Chris Olave, like you made the joke. Both these guys kind of have injury problems, but everyone has said that the Vikings training staff is the best in the league. They have great facilities. I think these players, both him and Asante Samuel, both have healthier seasons if they play for the Vikings. But then you turn over at the old guys. I do like Adam Thielen, Stephon Gilmore. That I would actually be happy if that's the move the Vikings went for.
Yeah.
And part of me, just being a homer, wants Adam Thielen here, so that way I'd be happy. I'd probably be happier with that one. But in terms of a winning organization, probably the Chris Olave, Asante Samuel Jr. route.
Yeah, and it just depends on what they want. Like, do they want young? I mean, Kwesi's not afraid to go after guys that have been injured. We've seen that before. He's not afraid to make that risk it for the biscuit almost. And then Adam Thielen, Stephon Gilmore, they're the experienced route. Guys that could fall off at any time, but have been really good in the league for a long time. So it just depends on kind of what route they want to go. Now, Asante Samuel Jr., is he even healthy enough to even play? Like, we don't know. It's just really weird that he hasn't signed with the team. Is he healthy enough to even contribute on a football team right now? But like we said, Chris Olave alone is really hard to pass up if that's someone that they targeted to be with the Vikings. But that's a great question. I really appreciate you throwing that on here, because either of those routes are possible. I think the Adam Thielen, Stephon Gilmore route is probably more likely, just because they have familiarity in both of the systems, offensively and defensively. So I think that would just work out a little bit. Again, appreciate you guys hopping on. We might go here for about 5 more minutes. Don't want to keep Austin up too late.
You don't got to worry about me.
Yeah. But again, there's about 30 of you over on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate it. Turn on that bell for notifications. We hop on a lot just to talk football, talk Vikings mostly with you guys. X, you're going crazy tonight, about 1,400 of you. Just continue to hop over there, follow us, and just continue to talk Vikings with us. That's the best thing. Me, Austin, Steve, Joe, we all love to talk Vikings football. We could do it all night. Unfortunately, we can't. We still got our other parts of our lives. So, but it's just a lot of fun to talk with you guys. And Bob says, I'll give him a mulligan on 22, but that's it. Yeah. 22, I'll give him a mulligan, but 2023 and obviously 2024 and 2025 are still kind of up in the air. But do you feel like 2024 and 2025 draft classes, do they have an opportunity to kind of help alleviate the previous two classes?
I do. There's great players in both these drafts, but
Yep.
Let's just say in terms of if 2022 and 2023 are his only blemishes, he was young GM just getting going. I think going forward, I think he learned from his mistakes, and I think that's the biggest part about it. You have to learn and adapt.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. That's what it's all about. And he got the contract extension. The Wilfs are kind of betting on that. Them being just a lot better when it comes to that. To drafting. It's not just Kwesi. I mean, it's Ryan Grigson in there. Kevin O'Connell has a lot to say. Brian Flores has a lot to say. Rob Brzezinski's got a lot to say. There's a lot of people in there that's kind of working together. It's not just Kwesi. No, he's the head of the snake. He's gonna get all the feedback and everything like that. But I think if the 2024 hits and the 2025 hits, and then we continue to just have some strong drafts, we want to remember the 2022 and 2023 drafts. So they'll be long in the past, but at the same time, probably going to be a joke in the future. So let's bring the Super Bowl home, and then we can really joke about those two drafts. Like, we could care less.
Yeah.
But we got some ways to go. Context King, he must not have been on here earlier, but we did talk a little bit about KJ Osborne, how we'd still fit in the system. We're waiting to see. Tomorrow we'll know if he does make the 53-man squad over with the Commanders. If there's something they're still interested in, it'd probably be as easy as like a pick swap, honestly, with the Commanders to get him over here. But you like KJ Osborne, correct?
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, that's my realistic pick for the guy we bring in. I think KJ Osborne makes a lot of sense.
For sure. No doubt about it. And Bob says, thanks, guys. No problem. Thank you for hopping on.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on.
Bob, you're always on here. You're killing it every single time. So we appreciate the support. Other than that, you got anything else, Austin?
No, I don't really think I do, but it's I've kind of said this before with preseason games. Don't read too much into anything, guys. Just sit there and enjoy it.
No.
Kwesi and KOC, whatever decision happens, we have to trust our guys, and it's probably going to be the best move for our team.
For sure. And Overlord has to throw in, hot damn, we don't have to trade a sixth for Akers. Hey, you could get picked up by a team week 6, week 7 come around. You need that RB3. You never know. You never know. The year's not over. It's a tradition like no other over here with the Vikings. Him or Myles Gaskin, I feel, are always over here.
Like that Myles Gaskin got released like 20 times and re-picked up in the same season.
Yeah, they had to keep. Yeah, I don't know exactly. It was just for transactional purposes.
Yeah,
which is kind of funny. Kubler says Osborne's kind of washed, has done nothing since leaving the Vikings. I agree, but maybe he just fits really well in the system with Kevin O'Connell. Now he even fit well with Mike Zimmer.
Yeah, and we're only looking really for 3 weeks of someone to fill, and he knows the system. So I think that's the safe play, and I think it's the most realistic play for us as well. But I think me and Brett both agree. I think we want something better than KJ Osborne. We just accept that that's a realistic option.
I think he'd be like a perfect like cherry on top. Go get like an Adam Thielen. Go get a higher named profiled name guy that'll come in and play right away and really contribute. But even if you have to go get KJ Osborne on top of that, he'll be fine being the wide receiver 4 or 5 once the season kind of winds down. But if he needs to step in at any point towards the end of the season, I think they're comfortable with them doing that. He's a great run blocker, which we know Kevin O'Connell really harps on. Like, you need to be able to block on the outside, and he's really good at that. He's reliable in third down situations. He's pretty decent in the red zone. And again, he's comfortable in Kevin O'Connell's offense. And like we said, that's not the sexy play, but it's probably a pretty realistic option. And Overlord's asking again about Carson Wentz. How are we feeling about him? I'm hoping he sits behind Brosmer. I don't think that's the case. I think he's here to be the backup for now.
Yeah.
Now this could change. Max could get really, really comfortable within the offense, and he could jump him maybe towards the end of the season. But I think for now, Carson Wentz is going to be pretty much the backup. They don't want to throw too much at Max right away.
Yeah.
And I think that's the smart play. I think next year Max is probably going to be the main backup to JJ McCarthy, and that's going to be a really good room there for the foreseeable future. But are you kind of in the same way?
Oh, I love this. When we were talking quarterback every other day in the pre-draft, Carson Wentz was a name that I was always bringing up, and I think even as recently as 2 weeks ago, leading up to a week and a half ago, leading up to the last preseason game, that was a name that I said that after seeing how Sam Howell played, I would love to see Carson Wentz come in here. He's played at a high level, was in considerations for an MVP. He sat behind Mahomes and played in a Super Bowl, so he knows what it takes to get there. He was in the room when the Eagles won their Super Bowl. He was hurt though, but he's a guy that knows what it takes. I think he'll be a good mentor. Grew up a Vikings fan, so I think it's a great piece for us to have at a backup spot.
Yeah, and the comments are. I was going to kind of end this, but if you're good, comments are still rolling in. Are you still good, Austin?
Yeah, I'm still good.
Okay, so yeah, I'm 100% with you there, and yeah, hey, Austin kind of called. He said bring in Carson Wentz, and guess what? Like 2 days later, boom, Carson Wentz was here. Austin just had to make a couple phone calls and
my inside sources.
Yeah. He got him in town, got him a workout at TCO Performance Center, and bang, you got to get that. You got to get that commission from Carson Wentz for that. What, $1.5 million? I think you should get what, 100,000 out of that or so. But
I'll take 100.
Yeah. I'll be just happy with that, right? Yep, no doubt about it. But yeah, I think he's the perfect backup, experience again in Kevin O'Connell's system, and a guy that's perfectly fine being the backup at this point in his career. And I think that's honestly, for it not happening until 2 weeks before the season, I'm very comfortable with JJ McCarthy, Carson Wentz, Max Brosmer, quarterback room. Just fine with that.
And for all those national media people talking how we weren't confident with JJ McCarthy, I think this kind of just proves it. We didn't go out looking for a guy that would even compete with JJ McCarthy. We went and got a guy that will be, or not a guy that would compete per se, but someone who is better and had more potential. It's a guy that, like you said, he's coming in to be the backup.
Yep. And it's a perfect quarterback room. Young franchise quarterback, hopefully. Proven veteran, developmental prospect. You can't ask for a better quarterback room, and they're going with it. Bob's joking. Yes, Wentz a proven Super Bowl winner. Hey, he was there. I mean, that's more there. That's more than what us Vikings fans can say. I mean, we've been there 4 times, but not in my lifetime and not in your lifetime, obviously.
No.
But we'll move on from that one. So is Thielen basically a lock to get added here? Is that what we're thinking? I'd like to think so, but it comes back down to the compensation, and we just heard that from Adam Schefter. The interest is there. Adam Thielen would love to come back to Minnesota. He still lives here, like Austin said. He grew up here, Vikings fan, played with the Vikings. It's just Carolina, honestly, I mean, they have a little bit of a reason to move him, but at the same time, they're not desperate to move him at all. So I think they're going to stay pretty locked with where they're at.
Yeah.
And just that last gasp tomorrow to try to get the deal done. Right, Austin?
Yeah, I'm not taking Adam Schefter's report really to heart personally. Maybe that's just me wanting him here so bad, but
yeah,
I think Carolina's pushing. I think they're trying their best to get the most out of him, and I think when they realize they're about to lose us, they might come down in compensation asks.
For sure. Yep, I could definitely see that happening because. Like I said, they don't have a ton of reason to move him, but at the same time, he's a 35-year-old wide receiver. If you can get something for him, I think that's a win for the Panthers. I mean, honestly, you're not able to trade a aging veteran wide receiver all the time, and honestly, I think it'd be a win-win situation for both the Vikings and the Panthers. I'm seriously hoping that he can give JJ insights and how Mahomes played, referring to Carson Wentz here. Screw how he's played throughout the years. We need that knowledge, and he's honestly played at a very high level.
Yeah.
Just the last few years. I mean, he's been a backup, and then he had a rocky time with the Commanders. The Commanders they're better now, but the organization was just a failure over there. He was even good with the Colts. I think he had like a 25 touchdown to 7 interception ratio over there, and then he got moved to the Commanders, and then kind of went downhill from there. He's been a backup ever since. But yeah, he does have the knowledge behind Patrick Mahomes, shit, and Andy Reid, Sean McVay,
and Matt Stafford.
Matt Stafford. He's seen a ton, he's learned a ton, and he's played at a high level. I say this all the time. I don't get why people are upset at adding him as a backup quarterback, because he's everything that you've wanted. He's thrown over 3,000 passes in the NFL. He's seen it all. He's played a lot of football. Right? Am I stupid for saying that?
No, it's exactly it. And plus, he even has the little hometown aspect of it. Grew up a Vikings fan and played at an FCS school, wasn't an FBS school. So he kind of has that good story about him too. So, I mean, obviously that doesn't really matter, but I mean, it's a good guy to bring in. He's going to be a morale boost. He's going to be another coach in the quarterback room. I think it's a great move.
100%. Overlord says, "Oh, y'all are going to have to tell me to shut up. Oh, I can keep the questions coming." Hey, we're good for now. We're good for now. I got my caffeine. Austin's probably got some caffeine somewhere.
Yeah, I got my caffeine.
Yep. So hey, we're good. I do have two kids next to me sleeping, so hopefully I'm not being too loud. But any point now that I'm like, okay, I got to go, that's probably the reason why. Adam says, with the Blackmon trade, how you guys feeling about our cornerback room? So we can relay back to this. I'm honestly feeling kind of crappy about it. I'm a little worried, but I think Brian Flores knows we're gonna get a lot of pressure up front, which is gonna help our cornerback room. And our safeties are really good. I still feel good about our safeties. Yeah. Harrison Smith has to get back in the building. I kind of don't know what's going on there, but he's got to get back on the practice field and everything. But we do have. I'm comfortable with Byron Murphy Jr. and Isaiah Rodgers. Yeah. Jeff Okudah, I would love to say I'm comfortable with, but we just need some more depth about that. If I had to give like a grade on our cornerback room right now, I'd probably be like a C-. How about you?
Yeah, I'd go about C minus as well. I think that it's definitely. I would say that's worse than our wide receiver room, honestly. But it's like you said, the rest of our defense is in such good shape. We're going to stop the run very well. We're going to get to the passer. It's going to help out the cornerbacks. And plus, I don't think we're done there. I don't think we're done adding to the cornerback room. And then, like I was saying, maybe Okudah is doing better behind closed doors than he has in preseason and joint practices. The coaching staff has obviously seen enough from him to trust him and probably being in a big role in our defense this year.
For sure. And I honestly, you're right. I think I'm more worried about our cornerback room than our wide receiver room. Mm-hmm. And that's only because Justin Jefferson's in that room. Yeah. We don't have a caliber type player. Byron Murphy's really good, but he's not like the Justin Jefferson of cornerbacks.
He's maybe Jordan Addison.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I'd agree with you there. And I think we're definitely going to add a piece or two into the secondary in the next at least day or two. So just, keep a lookout for that, Adam. Carolina is being extremely stingy. Yeah, we agree. We agree. They don't really have any reason to not be, I guess. But, I mean, that's
why not get the most you can get out of a player? Yep. So I see it. I understand it.
And if something does happen, I'm extremely intrigued to see what the exact trade is, because I feel like they've been kind of going back and forth. Because I think if a trade does happen, I think we're definitely going to see who like got the upper hand. Like if Kwesi won it, like say we had to give like a fifth or something like that. I think Kwesi won. I mean, if we had to get God forbid, a third or even a fourth, then we know Carolina kind of won the trade. So I'm super intrigued to see if something does come about, kind of who controlled the trade there. So Bob says tomorrow there will be a lot of options. Tomorrow's a big day. There's going to be a crap ton of cuts, a bunch. Now there's been a lot of cuts the last couple days, but tomorrow's the biggest day because
those are those fringe players that would actually be able to be signed somewhere and make an impact. Yeah,
exactly. And on Sunday and on Saturday, there was cuts happening, but they didn't have to have their roster set. Tomorrow,
Yeah.
the roster has to be set at 3:00. So there's gonna be a lot of moving parts. So we're gonna try to sift through all those tomorrow, hopefully, if it works. But there's gonna be a lot of news tomorrow, and there could be a couple trades in there as well. Worst case, give him 1 day. Give him a 1 day when he finally retires. He's 35. I think he will retire a Viking, referring to Adam Thielen, no matter what happens.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the plan.
I don't think he's done. I think he didn't start making a lot of money until later in his career. I think he's gonna be one of those guys that he is not playing at his best in his final days. So I think if he as long as teams give him contracts, I think he's gonna keep playing.
Do you think he could like coach for the Vikings, like a position coach?
Oh, for sure. He's a
Yeah.
very knowledgeable guy. Everyone in the room loves him. I could see that happening.
Yeah. Good relationship with Kevin O'Connell. Lives in Minnesota. Like I definitely think he could be a positional coach.
Yeah.
In the next couple of years. Shit, if he does retire in a couple of years, Keaton McCardell moves on to be an OC somewhere. Hey, there's a chance, but
Yeah.
we're not to that point quite yet. Overlord is killing it over here. He wasn't lying. Yeah, I'm definitely not opposed to having him here. I think we're all right in the buzz of finally seeing what JJ can do. I think he's referring to Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
I think, but yeah, I'm so excited just because I want to see what JJ McCarthy looks like in the regular season.
Yeah.
I'm so hyped for Monday night. Oh, that day is gonna drag forever. The weekend's gonna. I mean, we got football back, but at the same time, I gotta wait all the way till Monday night to watch.
Yeah, I know.
Which, hey, it happens. I mean, I said this before: Caleb Williams versus JJ McCarthy, Ben Johnson versus Kevin O'Connell. I mean, what can't you be hyped for? So I'm definitely looking forward to that. All right, YouTube, you're killing it as well. Over 40 of you over there. We've gained, I think, 5 subscribers so far tonight, but there's consistently been 30 to 40 of you watching almost all night. So if you're watching, I just ask you to do one thing. Again, I appreciate you guys watching. Just hit that red subscribe button. It helps us out a lot. Get you guys back over here again while we're talking Vikings, talking football, breaking down all these games that are going to happen in a very exciting year. I mean, we're going to be Super Bowl contenders if everything goes the way we want it. So it's gonna be a fun year. So if you are watching over on YouTube, just like this video, subscribe to us, turn on that bell for notifications. And X, you know what we're all about. Just appreciate you guys watching. Facebook, there's 2 of you over there watching. We really appreciate you. So just keep on watching and keep on supporting. Appreciate it. All right. So Overlord again says strong C to C minus regarding the cornerback room. If we don't grab anyone in the morning, I would be shocked. We're definitely going to grab someone. And it could be after the deadline because, I mean,
yeah, it's going to be later in the afternoon.
Yep. People are going to get dropped off, and then we're going to kind of see player movement. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on. I guarantee you we probably do grab someone. Now, if it's trade, it could happen in the morning sometime. Zach says, I'd imagine Gilmore or a different vet comes here. Yeah, I think Stephon Gilmore is a big option. And Mike Hilton, maybe. Is there any other vet corners that you can think of off the top of your head, Austin? Those are the 2 that come to mind.
Yeah, I mean, not really. I think Gilmore is the guy that I've always just thought was going to come back. It makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
I don't think you sit out entire training camp and have to go learn a new defense when I think he sees the road back home, back to Minnesota, which it kind of does scare me. And an aging corner is always rough. And then one who didn't go through camp kind of scares me too. So I don't know what to think about that, but he's a veteran. He understands. He knows the defense. I imagine Gilmore is going to get signed at some point tomorrow.
For sure. 100%. I agree. Bob says tomorrow morning should be interesting. Yes, sir. Besides Adam Thielen, how do you guys feel about Caleb Farley from North Carolina as well? Caleb Farley, is he a corner? I don't know everyone. I think he's a corner.
That's what that's what my mind was telling me too, is corner.
Am I correct that he played at Auburn? Is that correct? Is my knowledge doing correctly? No,
It's
Virginia Tech. That's right.
Yeah,
Virginia Tech. They kind of have similar colors, right? Kind of has.
It's the orange.
I don't know a ton about Farley, but 6'2", 196. I'm looking here. 26 years old, so right in line with what the Vikings would need, a guy that's right in the middle of his prime. Had 23 combined tackles last year for Carolina, started his career off in Tennessee. I mean, hey, if he's something that the Vikings and Brian Flores would pinpoint for a guy, I'd have no problem bringing him in because he fits the bill. It looks like 6'2", almost 200 pounds. Yeah, I'm good with that.
No, I would like that too. We obviously we didn't know too much about it, but if that's like something Kwesi wants thrown in there to make it a 3rd round pick, I don't wouldn't bother me at all.
Zach threw another good name up here, and that's Rasul Douglas. That is a good name.
Yeah.
With the Bills, Packers, a guy that's seen a lot of football again. I'd be just fine with that. I think he led the league in interceptions a couple of years ago. I think kind of that ball hawking type corner, very sticky in coverage. I think he's probably 31 or 32 years old. I'll double check that, but
yeah, no, Rasul Douglas would be a great fit.
30 years old. He will be 31 on the 29th. So
yeah, Rasul Douglas is a guy I would love to have in here if like we decide not to go to Stephon Gilmore route. And I honestly would actually prefer Rasul Douglas. He, like you said, played in a lot of big games, led the league in interceptions. That just fits the bill for the Vikings defense. We love those guys that make plays on the ball, and that'd be a great fit for us.
Yeah, we love that name, Zach. Yeah, that's a good one. And now they're just kind of talking about who the heck Farley is. Sounds like he's had some injuries. He was a 1st-round corner, kind of a bust. Wasn't even on a team this training camp. I'm not sure what Bob means by Marianne or Ginger. I mean, I am a ginger. Is that what you're referring to, Bob? I don't know who Marianne is. That's not my wife's name. So,
Marianne.
So I don't know what you're referring to there, Bob. But if you can clarify that, Overlord's laughing. Okay, Zach says appreciate it. Appreciate you. Thank you guys for watching. Up to 1,600 views so far, which is really awesome. That's one of our bigger ones so far. So I appreciate you guys hopping on. We're pushing 1020. I'm like, shit, might as well go towards 1030 just to see if anything happens. I don't think anything's going to happen, later on. So I think tomorrow might be a pretty big day.
Yeah, I've been refreshing a lot,
Yeah.
not getting anything here.
I think tomorrow will be a pretty big day. I thought today was going to be a pretty big day, and the Vikings are pretty quiet all the way up to like the Mekhi Blackmon trade, which was like at 7 o'clock, I think, 7 o'clock. So
yeah,
but they got to cut a bunch of guys, which is going to, cause a lot of movement right off the bat. I think they had to cut. I don't know what they're down. I think they cut 11, and then they traded a couple guys.
Yeah,
15. I think they got like, if I just had to guess, 22 to 25 players they need to cut yet, right around there.
Yeah, and I expect Chandler to get traded. I think that's going to be a trade, not a.
Yeah, I hope that's a trade. Hey, get more capital.
Yeah,
I mean, what are you going to do about it? You're going to get called Rick Spielman. I mean, that's the worst that's going to happen. But we're going to have a shit ton of capital, so I'd be fine with that. Overlord says, how would you feel about getting another guard to mentor Jackson? I think they might be decently set at the guard position.
Yeah, I don't foresee another offensive lineman coming in
because they got some guys that they really like. They like Blake Brandel still, who's seen a lot of football, very versatile. They like Walter Rouse.
Fry's is a good mentor. He's played a lot of snaps. He is a proven guard in the league.
Yep, 100%. So I think they might be set along the offensive line. If anything, they might have too many numbers. And Steven says Huber on the practice squad.
I don't think he'd make it to the practice squad. I think if he gets cut, he's on another team.
A lot of teams really do pay attention to the PFF grades, and he's been one of the highest graded guards.
And if you've watched previous episodes, I'm super high on him too.
Yes. If he makes the squad, he'll be wearing a Joe Huber jersey next time you see Austin. But I mean, if they had to cut him and they could somehow slide him to the practice squad, it'd be great. But is that a guy that they could Like if they're not going to be able to make any room, is that another trade candidate? I don't know.
I mean, it's very possible. Yeah, like you said,
Yeah,
other teams look at the Pro Football Focus ratings, and he's a guy who's graded pretty high, so that could be another trade.
yeah, it could be, especially like if they know he's not going to get to the practice squad. I mean, if they really want to push for 10 offensive linemen, throw him on the squad. I mean, I'd be fine with that, just to have another body there, because he has shown that he can play football. But if you know that he's not going to stick on the practice squad, yeah, just shop him a little bit and see if you can get even a sixth or how many 6th or 7th round draft picks can you get? I don't know, but
I saw a meme on X where it was like, it was a picture of Kwesi, and it's like, if you have a 6th round pick, you better watch out. We're coming for it.
we're coming for you. Yeah, he's on the hunt. He for sure is. Zach says he did play center on Friday, so I wonder if they keep him and just keep an extra alignment. I mean, it's very possible. Michael Juergens is the backup center, but I mean, I think only Ryan Kelly and Michael Juergens are the two that have center experience. I mean, there's Michael Gonzalez has a little bit that they picked up, but I don't think he's going to make the roster. He's only been here for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So if they want another guy that's versatile, yeah, I could definitely see it. And Justin School's the one guy that I'm kind of looking at. Like, we didn't hear much about him. I know the Vikings like him, and he's a veteran guy. But we have young guys that Blake Randall can swing out to tackle. Walter Rouse can swing out to tackle. Like, I mean, if Christian Darrisaw isn't ready week 1, they probably want to keep him on the roster, Justin School, to be that left tackle week 1. But Joe Huber, I agree with you, Austin. He's got so much potential. I'd be hard pressed to just let him walk for nothing. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just how I'm feeling.
And he also played left tackle at Cincinnati, or right tackle at Cincinnati. So playing center too. Very versatile guy, quick to learn. I like that.
For sure. No doubt about it. Overlord says, screw it. If you can't get Adam, let's get Odell. Let's make things interesting. That would be very interesting.
Yeah.
As Odell, I feel like he's signed to teams. It's been a big deal, and then we just never hear from him again.
Yeah.
So I think I might agree with Bob. I think he's toast. Yeah. I think he's burnt toast, unfortunately. But there's kind of those rumors that he retired, and then he's like, "No, I didn't retire. I'm gonna have to block you if you're telling me congratulations on a good career or something like that."
Well, he was a big part of their Super Bowl in LA.
Yeah, and then he got injured in the Super Bowl, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He tore his ACL, I think, in the Super Bowl.
In the Super Bowl. Yep. So, hey, who knows? I think they're going for a guy that, if it's not Adam Thielen, I think they're going to go get a guy that's probably in his prime if they can grab someone.
Yeah.
Maybe they do get like a Robert Woods or a Van Jefferson. Dennis says Tyreek Hill. I wouldn't hate it, but at the same time, I don't know what's the compensation again. I don't want to give up too much for. He's kind of aging. Like,
plus he's on my fantasy team, and when I have Vikings on my fantasy team, they never play well. So
keep him in Miami. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can't risk Austin's fantasy team. My draft's this weekend, so
yeah,
I gotta keep up with what's kind of happening over there. But they keep coming, Austin. So Zach now says Trey Palmer, Alec Pierce, Kendrick Bourne. Kendrick Bourne's a name that I could definitely see being an option, kind of in a deeper Patriots room. Alec Pierce, we talked about this earlier. I think he might have been part of the deal with Mekhi Blackmon.
Yeah.
If that was a true option. Trey Palmer's another guy. I don't think Trey Palmer is good enough to be like your number 2 wide receiver.
Yeah.
And I think they're looking for someone to be a number 2 for 3 weeks early on in the
season.
And
I think with J.C. Horn's injury, I don't think the Patriots are looking to shop receivers anymore.
Yeah. No, that's a great point too.
Yeah.
So all 3 of those names are very interesting. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if one of those names came up that the Vikings traded for him. But there is some hurdles that they'd have to jump through. But Steven says, if we're still talking with Carolina on Monday when Thielen talks started on Friday, then Naylor's injury must be somewhat serious. Might miss the first few weeks. Yeah, they're definitely shopping around. And we said, it's not just Thielen. They're looking for someone. So, and they've been
Sounds
very
like they were
quiet.
even on the phone with Jacoby Myers and
Yeah.
and Vegas too. So I mean,
Yep.
yeah, no, we're actively going for a receiver. Yeah, so that's pretty good rationale there. Naylor's injury must be pretty bad.
Yeah.
Which, like the Brett's point, maybe that's why we also get KJ Osborne on top of another move.
Yep. No doubt about it. Because, yeah, after Jefferson right now, the first 3 weeks, I mean, because especially if Naylor doesn't play, like, who's your second receiver? If we don't make any moves, who's your second receiver? Like,
It might be Ty Felton.
yeah. And we know how raw he is, like as
Yeah.
a route runner, ball security. Does he have the full grasp of the offense? Like, I don't know if I'd throw him out there to be that number 2 guy.
Throw him out to the Wolves.
Like, honestly, if that was the case, I would put all my attention on Justin Jefferson as a defense and let's be. Obviously, you got to worry about TJ Hawkinson. And
Yeah, maybe just line Hawkinson up as a receiver. And
we talked about Aaron Jones even lining up out wide if he
Yeah.
needs to. But they need a couple true wide receivers to be added to this offense. And Naylor's injury, yeah, we haven't heard it. It's been crickets. I mean, if it was minor, I think we would have heard something by now. So, and we'll find out tomorrow, I think, is kind of the deadline for short-term IR. Like, he could miss the first, I think that's 4 weeks, short-term IR, 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So we'll find out more about that as well. So yeah, it's a great point though. It is a great point. Dennis says Tyreek Hill grew up a Vikings fan. He sure did. Big Moss guy. Dante Culpepper. A lot of people grew up Vikings fans because that was a really fun era to grow up. Because hey,
if you like watching a team make the playoffs and lose, it's a great team to watch.
Yeah, if you love heartbreak, if you love getting just punched in the nuts every single day, yeah, it's you
like
come to the right place.
Kickers miss game-winning field goals. Be a Viking fan.
If you know Blair Walsh and Gary Anderson and Josh McCown even broke our hearts, and he's on the Vikings coaching staff. So yeah, if you, like I said, yeah, if you love heartbreak, you came to the right place. Give Miles Price some short passes to bring some energy, yards after the catch. Miles, I'm a big fan of Miles Price for sure. And I don't even know if he's going to make the roster. That's the first kind of bump to get over, because if they do get a wide receiver that has return abilities, they might just go there because Miles Price is not experienced. I guess he's like muffed a couple punts so far in practice and everything. He's a really good kick returner. And he's explosive with the football in his hand. And after cuts, if he does make the team, just switch your number to. I don't want to see a number 31 in the wide receiver room. I'm sorry. Eddie says Adam is my number 1, but Tyreek is number 2 on my list. I would trade a 3rd and Naylor for Hill and a 4th and Naylor for Thielen. So the problem with Naylor getting traded, you can't trade injured players, unfortunately, especially if they go on short-term IR.
Yeah.
So that'd be one hurdle to get over. But a 3rd and Naylor for Hill. Would you give up a 3rd and like a player for Hill?
It depends on the player. Like if you're looking at a Jalen Naylor caliber player, yeah, for sure. But if you're getting a receiver and trading a receiver, it's still creating a void in our wide receiver room. We still would need to do something else, is my only problem with that.
Yep, 100%. Overlord says, Chris Olave, this is why we got all the picks. We got to speak this into it. Hey, we've been speaking on this quite a bit.
I love Olave. When he was at Ohio State, me and all my friends were cheering for him. Yeah, Olave would be great.
Man, you'd see me doing like backflips. I've never done a backflip in my life, but
I would have an Olave jersey ordered right away.
Yes, sir. I mean, if that happens, yeah. I mean, yeah. My wife would not like what I would do if that would happen. Okay, we'll move on to the next thing. Steven Sager. There are still a few cut down candidates for wide receiver for punt return position. Look at Dante Pettis, New Orleans likely release. Braxton Berrios, Houston doesn't solve wide receiver 2, but solves wide receiver 4. Yep, they probably are looking for a guy that has depth in the wide receiver room, but also return ability. And I think that's going to be on top of another signing or trade, like we've kind of said. Like if there is an Adam Thielen or a bigger named wide receiver, I think they're going to even bring in another guy. And those names, Dante Pettis, Braxton Berrios would be a really fun one.
Yeah.
To just kind of solve the depth in that room. So I think that's a great point by Steven.
Yeah, I like it. It makes sense. I honestly think Lucky Jackson, the way he played, we do have to look at then more of our wide receiver depth, because I don't think Ty Felton's ready to be in that role to actually see some playing time in the wide receiver 4 spot. So yeah, honestly, it's probably a good move. I love Dante Pettis. That would be a fun move. And like you said, Barrios is really exciting and out of Houston. That'd be a good one too.
100%. I'd be good with that. And there's probably other names that we're not even talking about that, like if a player pops up that we went and got him, like, oh, I didn't even think of that player.
Yeah.
Which is a possibility. Again, I've been saying this every few minutes, but YouTube, you're killing it over there. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell for notifications, and just go from there and talk Vikings with us. We really appreciate it. I'm gonna need you to break this comment down pretty good, Austin. Hill doesn't have any babies in Minnesota yet. So, oh God, Overlord says he's going to complete the set. Oh boy, yeah, we'll just leave that as that. We'll keep that one in the comments. I mean, it's on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need to say any more on that. I think it's self-explanatory.
Yeah, I gave it the attention it needed. Dennis says, might as well sign Powell back for returns. I mean, we've talked about this.
Yeah,
but I think if they're going to bring back Brandon Powell, it probably would have been done already. But that's
I think they like what they seen from Miles Price. So if Price doesn't make the team, I think we're signing. It's going to be a wide receiver too that ends up returning punts for us.
For sure. Steven says, could a Michigan QB McCarthy throw to an Ohio State wide receiver Olave without causing a schism in the locker room? Mostly joking. Well, Donovan Jackson, he's protecting Jason McCarthy, and he's out of Ohio State. So might as well complete the trio there: offensive line, quarterback, and Chris Olave as a wide receiver. Shit, we could even got Travion Henderson in the backfield. Don't bring. He was one of my draft crushes. He would have been awesome over here. But
yeah,
I mean, if we had the capital that we might have in 2026, we probably could have made that work. But we were really limited on resources. Eddie says, doesn't Tyreek Hill return punts? I don't even know if he returns punts anymore. I know he did early on in his career. But at this point, I don't know if he does or not, to be honest.
Yeah, he did for sure in Kansas City. I don't know if he ever did with the Dolphins.
For sure. No, just holy moly. Okay. Viking Jedi on Twitter says, Thielen, Kirk, and a cornerback equals Super Bowl. What do you think of that, Austin? No. Sorry, Viking Jedi, if you're watching. Thielen part's fine. Kirk Cousins, I'm sorry. I mean, unless Atlanta takes up most of his salary, his cap hit, and
unless they gift them to us.
Yeah, exactly. We need Dallas Turner to explode this year, 100%. And I think he's ready for a big year. And if he does, I mean, that's just gonna add more pressure to opposing offenses, which would be a huge win.
Yeah, his speed was never the problem. He added 15 pounds this year. I think he's going to be a bigger problem for the offensive tackles this year. I expect a big season out of Dallas Turner.
For sure. And one more shout out for our sponsor, That's Badass Wood Art. Before we go, use code VC15. That's badasswoodart.com. And just find those guys over there. You see the skull sign right here. That's from Badass Wood Art. They do amazing work. Really cool items for decor, a gift, or anything like that. Check them out. Support a small business. I got one last one here. Kubler says Max Brosmer from New Hampshire and Xavier Scott from Maine were on the most bitter of rivals in college. New Hampshire football and Maine football. Yeah, that's big time Division I football. To be honest, I don't even know if I guess I knew they were colleges, but I don't even know if I've ever watched a New Hampshire or a Maine football game in my life. I've watched a lot of college football.
FCS.
Yeah, I've watched a lot of college football, but
yeah,
at the same time, yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen those two match up. Bob says, "What kind of beer do you drink?" I'm going to be honest. I do not drink beer at all. I barely drink alcohol, mostly because I don't have time. I have 3 kids, a 4th on the way. This is about all my free time is. I put it towards the Vikings. I do drink some whiskey. I'm a Crown Royal guy, or Captain Morgan. I'm pretty simple man when it comes to that. You drink some beer, Austin?
Yeah, I drink Grain Belt Premium and Busch Light.
Oh boy, yeah, boy. You're over in Wisconsin. You drinking that Spotted Cow over there?
Oh, they have it on tap. If you go anywhere, like for dinner, that Spotted Cows everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we never really were able to get. I don't even know if we can get it in Minnesota. We'd always have to like drive over to Wisconsin. My
No,
parents
you
would
can't.
drive like,
It's only sold in Wisconsin.
yeah, like they'd have to drive like 3 hours to get that stuff, and they would do it every now and then.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you
It
guys are
is. It is
freaking
really
nuts.
good.
But
I overdid it when I moved here 2 years ago. I overdid it, and that's all I drank. And I was like,
yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
But hey, we'll end it with that. We'll end it with the beer question. Perfect cap to an hour and a half long live, but you guys killed it tonight. We're over almost up to 1,800. And as people are still commenting, but we got to get to bed. It's after 10:30, but I'm sure you're going to see our faces again here shortly.
Yeah, we
Tomorrow,
gotta get well rested for the big news tomorrow.
Yep, well rested. And maybe Austin's going to have that Adam Thielen jersey on again for a current player of the Minnesota Vikings. But any last thoughts, Austin, before we hop out here?
No, I think we're good.
All right. Everyone get some sleep tonight. Again, get well rested. Big day tomorrow for the Minnesota Vikings and us Vikings fans trying to get that first Super Bowl victory. Viking Central, Brett here, Austin. God bless. See you guys in the next video.